The story opens with Keller Dover returning from a hunting trip with his young son, Ralph. During the drive, Keller talks seriously about survival and tells Ralph that a man must always be prepared for the worst. Later that day, Keller's wife Grace prepares to head out with their daughter Anna to celebrate Thanksgiving with their neighbors. At the Birch family's home, Nancy Birch welcomes them warmly. Franklin Birch is outside with his children, and soon Anna joins Joy, one of the Birch daughters, as they play together. While the adults get ready for dinner, Anna asks if she can go outside with Joy. Keller tells her to take Ralph along too, and the children head out together. Outside, Anna and Joy wander toward a strange RV parked nearby and start touching it out of curiosity. Ralph and Eliza quickly pull them away, telling them to leave it alone. After dinner, Anna realizes she has lost her whistle and asks if she can go back to her house with Joy to look for it. The adults agree, and the two girls leave together. Some time passes, and Keller suddenly asks Ralph and Eliza where their sisters are. When they don't know, Keller rushes back to his house to search for Anna, but she isn't there. Panicking, he returns to the Birch home, but Joy is missing too. Ralph then remembers the RV they saw earlier and takes Keller to the spot where it was parked, but the vehicle is gone. With fear setting in, Keller calls the police. Meanwhile, Detective Loki is eating alone at a diner when he receives a call about the suspicious RV. He soon locates it and begins to inspect the vehicle. Without warning, the RV tries to escape but crashes shortly after. Loki enters and finds a man named Alex Jones hiding inside. Alex is questioned about the missing girls, but he refuses to speak and is taken into custody. Loki interrogates Alex, accusing him of involvement, but Alex keeps denying everything. That same night, Loki visits the home of Alex's aunt, Holly, where Alex sometimes stays. Later, Loki receives confirmation that the RV contains no physical evidence. Still suspicious, he sends another police team back to Holly's house. The next day, Loki visits the Dover home. Grace mentions that Loki's captain says he has never failed a case. Loki promises to find Anna and Joy, but Keller interrupts the conversation. Loki explains that there is no evidence linking Alex to the crime, which angers Keller deeply. He demands answers, unable to understand how Alex could be innocent. Loki tries to calm him down and assures him the investigation is ongoing. Before leaving, Loki tells Keller that Alex will be released unless charges are filed. That night, Loki stops by the home of Father Patrick Dunn. He notices something wrong and finds the priest unconscious. While searching the house, Loki discovers a hidden basement. Inside, he finds disturbing objects and a man tied to a chair. Loki wakes Father Dunn and questions him about the body, but answers remain unclear. The next day, search efforts continue, and Grace calls Keller to inform him that Alex is being released. As Alex exits the police station, reporters surround him. Keller rushes forward and attacks Alex in anger, demanding to know where the girls are. Alex whispers that the girls stopped crying only after he left them. Police drag Keller away. Captain Richard lets Keller off with a warning and tells him to go home, advising him to share the new information with Loki. Later, Loki visits Holly and Alex again, asking if Alex said anything to Keller. He warns Alex that lying could put Holly in danger. After this, Loki calls Keller and tells him he is no longer treating Alex as a suspect. Keller returns home and tries to comfort Grace, who is emotionally broken and only wants her daughter back. Keller gives her medication to calm her down and asks Ralph to stay with her while he steps out. That night, Keller waits outside Holly's house. When Alex comes out to walk his dog, Keller confronts him with a weapon and demands to know where he learned a strange song he was humming. The following day, Keller brings Franklin Birch to an abandoned house, revealing that he has secretly captured Alex. Franklin is horrified and insists they should go to the police. Keller refuses, believing this is the only way to save their daughters. Keller gives Alex one final chance to confess. When Alex stays silent, Keller lashes out in rage, demanding answers. At the same time, Loki reviews old missing child cases at the station. This leads him to speak with Mrs. Milland, whose child was taken decades earlier near the same area where Alex's RV was first seen. As night falls, Keller continues interrogating Alex, who is now badly injured. Despite threats and pain, Alex says nothing. Franklin, unable to bear the situation, attends a candlelight vigil for the missing girls and comforts his devastated family, while the search for truth continues. Loki is standing near the candle vigil when he notices a man named Brad Taylor quietly placing a teddy bear among the flowers. Something feels off, so Loki watches him closely. As Brad walks away, Loki follows. Suddenly, Brad notices him and takes off running. Loki chases him through the streets until Brad turns the tables, ambushing Loki near a house. In the struggle, Brad manages to escape into traffic and disappears. The following day, Franklin and Nancy see Brad's face on the news, now named as a possible suspect. Despite this, Franklin leaves home to meet Keller, who is determined to question Alex again. Keller believes Alex and Brad are connected somehow and wants answers. Franklin is clearly disturbed but goes along anyway. At the police station, Loki informs Captain Richard that Alex never returned after walking his dog nights earlier. He questions why Alex was not being monitored and stresses that everyone linked to the case needs to be accounted for. Loki replays his past interview with Alex, hoping to catch something he missed. Soon after, he receives a call and heads to a shopping mall to speak with a witness who may have information about Brad. Back at the abandoned building, Keller tells Franklin that time is slipping away. Franklin later returns home where Nancy confronts him about his absence. Unable to lie anymore, Franklin admits the truth. Not long after, Nancy storms over to Keller and accuses him of holding Alex captive. She demands to see him and is taken to the room where Alex is restrained. Nancy pleads with Alex to help her find Joy and loosens his restraints, but Alex suddenly attacks Nancy and tries to escape. Keller steps in and shows Franklin and Nancy the cruel method he has been using to force answers out of Alex. Franklin argues that Keller has no proof that Alex is guilty and says this has gone too far. Keller responds by handing Franklin a hammer and walking away. Nancy stops Franklin from using it, and they both leave. At the same time, Brad breaks into the Birch home and sneaks into Eliza's room just as Franklin and Nancy arrive back. Brad slips away and makes his way into the Dover house, waking Grace. Half asleep, Grace thinks it is Anna returning home, but Brad escapes again. Ralph comforts his mother, and later Loki is told about the incident. The next day, Loki secretly follows Keller as he drives through town and eventually to the abandoned house. Keller notices Loki and confronts him. Loki asks where he's going, and Keller lies, saying he is heading to a store. Loki says he knows Keller has not been cooperating with the police as he promised Grace. He reveals that Alex is missing. Keller claims Alex fled because he is guilty, then angrily demands that Loki focus on finding his daughter and stop following him. That night, Keller returns home and falls asleep. He dreams of Anna and asks who hurt her, but wakes up before getting an answer. Later, he goes back to Alex and puts him through even more brutal pain, desperate for any clue. While this is happening, Loki arrives at the abandoned house. Franklin panics and hides as Loki enters. Loki finds Franklin lying on the floor and begins searching the place. Franklin gives him a brief tour, but Loki suddenly gets a call about Brad and rushes out, leaving Franklin behind. Loki tracks Brad to his home and questions him about running away. Brad tries to flee but is caught. As Loki searches the house and calls for backup, he breaks into a locked room filled with venomous snakes wrapped in blood-stained clothing. In the final crate, he discovers a notebook filled with maze drawings. He quickly takes the book and leaves. Later, Loki tells Keller that no bodies were found, but the Birch family identifies some of Joy's clothing from the crates. Keller recognizes one of Anna's socks and breaks down in tears. He lashes out at Loki, accusing him of wasting precious time and failing to save his daughter. Back at the Dover home, reporters gather outside. Keller tells Ralph not to speak to them, but Ralph says Eliza told him the girls are probably dead. Keller insists that is not true and begs him not to tell Grace. Ralph accuses Keller of abandoning the family, and Keller storms out in anger. Elsewhere, Loki watches Brad working on the maze drawings. He enters the room and asks what Brad is sketching. When Brad refuses to answer, Loki attacks him in frustration. During the struggle, Brad grabs a weapon and ensures he will never reveal anything. At the abandoned house, Keller prays for forgiveness and admits to Alex that he no longer knows what to do, but believes Alex still has the truth. Alex weakly says the girls are in the maze. Keller demands to know where it is, but Alex gives no answer. Later, Keller goes to Holly's house and apologizes. Meanwhile, Captain Richard tries to console Loki for not solving the case in time. Loki breaks down in frustration. As he calms himself, he notices a picture that looks like the maze Brad had drawn and then receives a call. Loki returns to Brad's house, where he is told most of the evidence was staged and the mazes were copied. Still, Loki is convinced there is a link and demands to know how Brad ended up with Anna and Joy's clothes. Loki rushes back to the Dover home and quickly discovers proof that Brad had been inside. He finds Anna's socks missing, confirming they were taken from the house. Just then, Grace receives a phone call. As Keller pulls into the driveway, Grace runs out in tears, saying that Joy has been found but Anna is still missing. They hurry to the hospital where Franklin and Nancy are waiting. Keller tries to speak with Joy, desperate for answers, but the doctors stop him. Joy later explains what she remembers from the time they were taken and says that Keller was nearby when it happened. Hearing this, Keller suddenly bolts and speeds away. Loki chases Keller as he drives toward the abandoned house. As Loki arrives, he hears Alex screaming in pain inside. Keller, however, heads elsewhere and goes to Holly's home. He pretends he wants to make things right and offers to help repair things around her house as an apology. Once inside, he confronts her, saying he knows the girls were held there. Holly suddenly pulls a gun on Keller and takes him prisoner. She locks handcuffs on him and forces him to drink a drug, claiming it will help him see his daughter again. When Keller's phone rings, she orders him to throw it into the garbage disposal. Holly then admits that she and her late husband kidnapped several children in the past. She calls it a kind of war, meant to turn parents into monsters through pain and loss, just like Keller has become. She reveals that Alex never hurt Anna or Joy, and that she alone took the girls. Holly forces Keller into a car and drives him to a hidden pit in the ground. She injures him and pushes him inside, causing him to fall and hurt himself even more. She tells him he will be reunited with his daughter down there and seals the hole, leaving him trapped. At the same time, Loki is informed that Alex has been found and heads to Holly's house. Inside the pit, Keller struggles through the darkness and finds Anna's whistle. When Loki arrives at Holly's home and knocks, Holly goes to the place where she has hidden Anna. Loki enters the house and hears movement. He reaches the room just as Holly injects Anna with a drug. Holly asks Loki to cremate her and then attacks him. Loki fights back, wounds her, and rushes to save Anna. Despite being badly injured, Loki drives at high speed to the hospital and manages to get Anna medical help. Sometime later, Keller is still missing while Loki recovers from his wounds. Grace visits Loki at the hospital along with Anna, Nancy, and Joy. Grace tells Loki that Keller has not contacted her and asks if he will keep searching for him. She quietly admits that she misses him. Back at Holly's property, Loki watches as excavation crews finish their work and begin to leave. Just as they do, Loki hears the faint sound of a whistle coming from underground. He stops, listening closely as the screen fades to black.